Okay, this is a video I'm going to make on the null set and higher levels of infinity. My CH argument, my continuum hypothesis argument, rested on the belief that you could posit that, in fact, you could define even higher levels of infinity above all, if not, that you would define unenumerable infinities as such that 0 times that level of infinity would not get you 0. Okay. Now, some of people have argued that that would contradict the axiom of infinity. And that the axiom of infinity states that there exists a set containing the empty set and the successor of each of its elements, and that is infinity defined. But if you look at Cantor's argument, that's really all if not defined. All if not would, and that would be an enumerable infinity, not an unenumerable, but an enumerable infinity defined right there. I don't see that as defining unenumerable infinities, i.e. all of 1, or infinities that are beyond enumeration. Now, you may argue that 2 to the power of x, as x goes to infinity, will get you an unenumerable infinity. And you may argue that, well, wait a minute, that can kind of be derived from the axiom of infinity. Well, but Cantor proved through his diagonalization argument that what seems evident and logical isn't. It seems evident and logical that the infinity of the reals should correspond to the infinity of the rationals. Because let's face it, I mean, the reals would be various decimal spaces going to infinity. Let's say the reals between 0 and 1. So that would seem to correspond to the rationals just logically. I mean, if the rationals correspond to the integers, then that would seem that the reals should correspond to the rationals. But the fact of the matter is that it doesn't. And by a strenuous argument, you might say that Cantor's own results are inconsistent with set theory, although there is the axiom of powers. For each set, there exists a collection set that contains amongst its elements all the subsets of the given set. And that, of course, is relevant to the continuum hypothesis, and it's relevant to Cantor's argument. But at the very same time, Cantor's own argument about the uncountability of the reals would seem to defy ordinary logic, which, of course, is based on discrete sets. Our everyday world is based on discrete sets. So I would maintain that, yes, you can derive, let's say, 2 to the power of all if not from the axiom of you could derive the 2 from the axiom of infinity this way. You could derive, meaning it would be the set containing the null set and then the set of the null set. The measure of that would be, i.e., in other words, if you think of the set of 0 and 1 as having 2 elements, that could define 2. And then the power to the power of all if not, that would be that set containing all integers or all real numbers. And sure, you can construct 2 to the power of all if not, but remember, once you put the 2 together as 2 to the power of all if not, you then have something that transcends enumeration. And so I maintain that it is possible that anything transcending enumeration also transcends the zero non-zero dichotomy. Now, if we were to add that as an axiom of set theory, that unenumerable cardinal numbers would, unenumerable cardinalities would defy the zero non-zero dichotomy, then that would be an additional axiom of set theory that I don't see defying any of the others. Here's Zermelo-Fraenkel set theory. The axiom of existence, there exists at least one set. Okay. And that would, of course, be our P&O number system. Well, it's, in other words, you start with the null set and you build on all your other numbers. Okay. The axiom of extension, 2 sets are equal if and only if they have the same elements. Okay. The axiom of specification, for every set and every condition, there corresponds a set whose elements are exactly the same as those elements of the original set for which the condition is true. All right. The axiom of pairing, for any 2 sets there exists a set to which they both belong. Next one, the axiom of unions, for every collection of sets there exists a set that contains all the elements that belong to at least one of the sets in the collection. Then there's the axiom of powers, for each set there exists a collection of sets that contains amongst its elements all the subsets of a given set. Now, that one I admit can maybe create some problems for my argument. And I'm going to concede that my opponents mentioned the axiom of infinity, but it's possible the axiom of powers, the ones who imply that higher levels of infinity are based on all if not through the axiom of powers, maybe that throws my argument into turmoil. I'm willing to consider that. But the axiom of infinity, that there exists a set containing the empty set and the successor of each of its elements, well, that defines all if not. You can build on that to define unenumerable of infinities, but that strictly in and of itself defines all if not. And then finally, the axiom of choice. For every set, we can provide a mechanism for choosing one member of any non-empty subset of the set. Okay, so that's a good one too. I'm not saying my axiom is correct, but my argument was that if it is correct, we can construct an argument for the continuum hypothesis, and I stand by it. Now, I think it's only fair to allow people to post comments, and you can post any and all comments you want. And I've blocked unfair and insulting comments, but maybe I won't do that with this video. So have at it.